time to unhaul some books that I no longer want in my possession. Come here. Come up. You can do it. You can do it. My dog is up my butt. As usual, she has an ear infection, so little baby. My little baby needs to be cuddled while I film. Hello, my beautiful friends on the internet. I am going to be doing a book unhaul today because my reading taste is constantly changing. I have a bunch of books here that I read and just felt meh about, or I've DNF'd because I just was not interested. A lot are thrillers. I don't know. I'm trying to rediscover what I'm into, okay, and what I like. So I have some books that I've sold that I'm going to talk about, and then I also have just some books that I'm trying to sell on Pango, and we're just going to go through and talk about each one. Kind of what I've been doing is using that money to buy new books that I'm actually excited to read, because a lot of these I've owned for a very, very, very long time, and they're just not doing it for me. Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. If you saw my vlog, I hated this book. I feel like the reason that people love it, it's very valid. I understand why someone would love this book. I just do not think that it was written well. I think it was completely different from his other books that I love, and it just wasn't quite up to par with the writing style in this one for me. So I am saying goodbye to this one, sadly, because I own all of his other books. I just can't justify keeping this one. American Rapture by C.J. Lead. I did not read this one. I was going to, and then a lot of people told me that it has like a YA sort of writing style to it, super, super on the nose with the commentary, and those were the two things that I hated about that Grady Hendrix book, and I just don't want to waste my time anymore. I absolutely hated Mayfly. Some people told me I might like this one because I hated Mayfly, because they felt the same way, but when I look at this book, I have no desire to pick it up, so yeah. Also, these like Aardvark book club books and the book of the month books, I've been skipping a majority of the time now. Like I don't feel the need to pick up a book club box book just because I have a subscription. Like I can just skip when need be. I can't handle the modern horror YA on the nose writing anymore. Absolutely insufferable. I'm not gonna do it. The Ecstasy of Agony by Roth James White. This is like extreme horror, splatterpunk, short stories, some poetry, lots of like political commentary. It was okay. I mean, I think he's a great writer. It's just nothing that I'm going to revisit, and I don't typically like short story collections, so I really just don't feel the need to hang on to this one. White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson. This is YA horror. Again, it was okay. It was YA horror. I like Tiffany D. Jackson as a writer. I'm never gonna reread this. I don't think it was anything spectacular. There's no reason for me to hang on to this one. Like, what am I doing? I'm not, whatever. Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris. This one I read and I enjoyed a million years ago, but I know what the twist is. It's nothing that shocking. Maybe it was like one of the first thrillers to have this twist. I don't even know, but it's nothing that surprising or shocking or thrilling looking back at it, so I don't feel the need to like ever recommend this one in a video or talk about it or reread it ever again, so yeah. The Devil Takes You Home by Gabino Iglesias. A lot of people really love this one and say it's really heartfelt and amazing, and I've DNF'd. I tried reading it and I don't know, I just couldn't get into the writing. It's like an action movie sort of feel to it, and I don't like that vibe. It's about this dad whose daughter has an illness and he takes a job as like a hitman, and I don't know, I'm not really into the like action movie sort of thrillers. Sometimes S.A. Cosby does it really well, but I don't know, I just could not get into this one for some reason. And then same with the next one. This is Falling by T.J. Newman. This is about like a plane crash sort of thing. I started this one and I just could not get invested. Again, it has that like action movie feeling to it that I just was not invested. I don't know. The Invention of Sound by Chuck Palahniuk. I love Chuck Palahniuk. Not a huge fan of his recent books. I think this one came out in like 2020 or 2021. And I really liked the beginning of this one. The middle started dragging, and then the ending, it just did not land for me. I don't know. Sometimes he's just not good at landing his endings. So yeah, this one just ended up being like meh for me. Nothing that I'm gonna reread, nothing that was like super impactful to me. Like his other books, I can at least like pull things and they have like depth and meaning to them. This one I just felt kind of like, eh, okay. Bright Young Women by Jessica Knoll. This one I absolutely hated. I read it in January for my Patreon book club, and I hated every second of this book. It's like fictionalized true crime, but not really, because it's based off of the Ted Bundy case. Some of them are real victims, and I don't know how I feel about the situation. Like, I see why it's done. I see why people love this book. Like, the point is to focus on the victims instead of the killer, but like, there's a reason that people focus on the killer, because focusing on the victims going to their 9-to-5 job and like not doing anything, it's like, this book was so boring. It could have been an email, right? Also, I don't know. I just felt weird about this book. It was boring. It was pretentious. It was weird. I could not get into this one. It bored me to tears. My friend Chris literally fell asleep on page 3 of this book, if that tells you anything. Normal People by Sally Rooney. This one's pretty self-explanatory. I fucking hate Sally Rooney's books. Intermezzo was okay. This one was pure trash. What the hell was it with this? So many flashbacks are coming to mind. Like, he's just a boy, she's just a girl, my characters fucking suck. And it was just this story of these two stick figure teenagers going into college and then like loving each other and then breaking up, but then still loving each other, but then breaking up. And then it's about abusive relationships, and her looking like flour dough when she has sex. That's pretty much this book. I don't know what else do you want me to say about it at this point? Ace of Spades, YA thriller. I never read it. The more that I looked at this, the more I just didn't give a fuck to read this book. The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. I read this a million years ago. Really liked it when I read it. Do I remember it? No. I remember it being like a mid-thriller. Is this something that I'll be rereading and obsessing over anytime soon? Absolutely not. A Good Marriage by Kimberly McCreight. This one I unhauled because I DNF'd. I've tried reading it I think once or twice, and it was like a legal, it's kind of like a courtroom thriller. I was not invested with this one. Courtroom stuff just does not do it for me. A Talent for Murder by Peter Swanson. Why do I own this? I don't know, because I don't typically like Peter Swanson. This was like an add-on. I needed like $5 extra to get free shipping or something. And so I got this book with my order, and then I ended up not wanting to read it. So, and then I heard it sucks, so. The Wife Between Us by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. I never read this, and I heard it's mid at best. I really have no desire to read this. I've owned it for a million years. That's that. After That Night by Karen Slaughter. This is like the 11th book of the Will Trent series or something. I'm pretty sure this was sent to me. And honestly, like, I still never made my way through the Grant County series. I'm kind of moving away from that like procedural, the procedural type thrillers. I really have to be like in a weird, crazy mood in order to read something like that. So like, am I going to read, you know, 15 books before getting to this one? Probably not. So I just feel like giving this to someone will make more sense than me hoarding it for no reason. Baby X by Kira Pykoff. I DNF'd this one. This was an aardvark book. It's like a sci-fi thriller. I got a couple chapters in and I was kind of like, I don't remember what it was. I just could not get invested into the writing style. I did not care what was going on. I could not follow along what was going on. I just don't know what it was. I just didn't give a fuck. So that was that. And then some books that I sold recently. Let's go through those. Rest Up by Nat Cassidy. Need I say more? This is my 1-star book club book in December. And this one was just absolute trash, in my opinion. Condom water balloon fights, googly eyes. It was just absolute fuckery. Snakes and spiders, oh my. Like, I don't even want to talk about this book anymore. Like, I never want to talk about it ever again. No Exit by Taylor Adams, a thriller I read a really long time ago. I liked it at the time. Would I necessarily recommend it and talk about it and love it and reread it again? No. That's the problem with a lot of these popular thrillers. It's like, yes, they can be quick and easy and entertaining at the time, but they're nothing that I want to hold on to. Because it's nothing that I want to like obsess over or talk about. Like, I just don't, you don't pull much meaning from it. With thrillers, like, it's just an easy, fun time, right? But I'm not gonna like sit around and talk about it and like, I don't know. I feel like thrillers are something I'm either going to get on my Kindle or get from the library or something from now on. Like, I don't feel the need to be like purchasing thrillers, right? Goth by Ochizuchi. This one is this is a Japanese horror book. I'm trying to even remember what this one is about because I read it so long ago, but we're just like following this weird girl doing weird things. It's supposed to be like super gross and graphic, but it wasn't anything thrilling or exciting from what I remember. I remember it being like, oh, this is what people are saying is so terrifying. I just thought it was really weak and ridiculous. Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Need I say more? I never read this book. Would I ever read this book? No. Probably not. I don't like Emily Henry. I don't like these like cutesy book talk romances. I bought this for a joke. I got it secondhand, like as a joke. I was gonna film like a video for Valentine's Day last year, reading like horrible romance books, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I didn't want to torture myself like that. Zola by D.E. McCluskey. Need I say more? This is like the grossest book I've ever read in my life. It's just gross, extreme horror for the sake of being gross. This guy's... I have a whole spoiler video on this damn book that I will leave linked. Okay, if you are curious, go check it out. No. What It's Like in Words by Eliza Moss. This one was a new release that reminded me so much of Sally Rooney. I hated the writing style. His only personality trait was saying honey and being abusive, and her only personality trait was like discussing American politics and being obsessed with this man. And it was just insufferable to read, and she was obsessed with him, and it was painful. It was painful to read. I would not recommend. Let's see. Docile which is a memoir. It's a Korean memoir. I DNF'd this one. I was listening to it, like, it was fine. I just wasn't super invested, and I was kind of like, who the hell is this woman and why does she have a memoir? You know, it's like one of those, I'm like, why am I reading a memoir about a person that I don't even fucking know who she is? So I just could not get invested. The Plot by Jean Hanff Corlitz, another thriller I read forever ago. I enjoyed it at the time. Do I really remember it? No. That's that. That's how I feel about every single fucking thriller. There are a few that stand out that I love, like Gone Girl, for example, and that I will never unhaul. But yeah, ones like this, I'm like, yeah, I remember liking it 5 years ago. Why do I still own it? Lost on Me by Veronica Rainio. This one I hated. I read recently in a vlog. It's just like a lit fic book about this girl's life growing up with like super strict parents, and yeah, it read like an essay collection, which I'm not typically a fan of, like in fiction books. And then it kind of jumped from that to being like super serious and sad to being like hee hee quirky funny, and I hate when lit fic books do that. Like, stick to either the quirky funny bit or stick to the sad serious bit. When we start mixing things, that's when I get irritated, and that's when I have no fucking desire to continue reading the book, to be honest. And then last but not least, I sold The Stand by Stephen King. I never read this one. I've owned it forever, and someone spoiled the ending for me, and I was like, oh, I fucking hate that. And I have no desire to read a 1,000 and some page book just to find out that that's how it ends. So I have no desire to read The Stand. I know a lot of people love this book and they love the ending, and that's great. My opinion is that he just does not land his endings very well. So yeah, I said bye to this guy here. So yeah, I didn't really have too many rants to go on. It's just like your typical cleaning up here. You know, the typical cleanup crew. You gotta clean up some books to make room for the new personalities. So hopefully this video was exciting. I feel like it probably wasn't. I don't know, everyone expects me to go on these huge, my dog. Everyone expects me to go on these huge rants all the time, and like, sometimes I don't have anything to rant about. Like, I don't have the energy. Sometimes I'm just feeling very like nihilistic, baby. That's me today. So yeah, I hope you got some entertainment out of this. I don't know, but I will see you in my next video, and I love you guys. Bye.